Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a crazy video to get into because we have some Switch 2 news and updates, but we also have some leaks, and some of these leaks are actually coming from Nintendo about some major games coming over to the Switch 2. We have some other stuff that's pointing at a Nintendo Direct, and at this point it's like, it almost seems inevitable that it's coming this week, but we will see, so let's go and get right into this video. So obviously I love going over game leaks, but when Nintendo was leaking it, it's like, that's as good as it gets, right? This is what we want, man. I mean, we really want official announcements, but hey, I'll take what we can get. These leaks, plus other stuff that's been confirmed, and more stuff we'll go over today, it's all pointing at a Nintendo Direct. But every time I think a Direct's happening, it doesn't happen. So we'll do some reverse psychology here. I don't care about a Direct. I don't even think it's coming. It would be stupid. If it comes, I'm not even going to watch it. Hopefully that worked. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. We're like 18 subscribers away from 19,000. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our communities growing, and stay tuned to the end of the video so you can learn how to win some eShop gift cards or potentially a Switch 2. So let's go and get right into it. So every now and then we learn about an update in the gaming industry, and 9 times out of 10, it's stupid. It's dumb. We're going backwards as the community, right? And if you had to ask me why I think this is happening, number one, games are too expensive, development times are too long, and all these acquisitions, they just really end up hurting us. Subscription services, those are not doing great. So I said number one, I just went over like 4 things. I have an endless list of problems in the gaming industry. Nintendo gave us an update today, and I think it is phenomenal news. Nintendo is going to explore making games with shorter development cycles to counter rising development costs. They're also investing in their development teams to preserve the way they've traditionally made games. So instead of taking 8 years and $300 million to make a game, let's just take a year and spend like 20 million bucks and put out a great game. And that way we don't have to fire 2,000 people because we wasted $1 billion on a bunch of stuff that didn't play out. Go back 20 years or something. Games seemed like they were coming out quicker because development times were down. Games weren't massive open world simulation games. And a lot of times that's when we would get weird and wacky stuff. We got stuff that was kind of fun. When you weren't making a game for everybody, you kind of just stuck to your own audience, or you took a chance. That's why we have a lot of those great games we look back on. There's a reason why when you look over the past 10 years, a lot of the greatest games we actually got were made from indie developers and indie teams. So this is phenomenal news coming from Nintendo. And I mean, when you look at the opposite end, you see what's going on with Microsoft and Xbox right now. Yes, we're still going to get those games that take 5, 6, 7, 8 years to make, but in the meantime, we still have other great games coming out. Speaking of games and game development and Nintendo and Microsoft or Xbox, we also have an update for the company that ports a lot of games over to the Series S, I believe, and it's just more good news. Prolific port studio Virtuos, I truly can't read, I'm not even kidding when I say that sometimes, has compared the overall technical capabilities of Nintendo Switch 2 to the Xbox Series S. Established in 2004, Virtuos is one of the largest game makers in the world. It focuses on supporting the development of major AAA games or bringing existing titles to new platforms. Having previously worked with franchises including Call of Duty, Dark Souls, Battlefield, Uncharted, and Horizon, it's currently supporting Konami's development of Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Technical director at Virtuos subsidiary Black Shamrock, who's worked on a million games, discussed the technical capabilities of the Switch 2 in an interview. According to O'Grady, the overall GPU capabilities of both consoles are comparable thanks to the Switch 2 uses of DLSS upscaling. While Switch 2's CPU is closer to PS4, he said he believes any game shipping at 60 frames per second on the Series S should easily port to the Switch 2. Likewise, a 30 frames per second Series S game that's GPU bound should also port well. The technical director is optimistic overall for the Switch 2 and claimed it could surpass the sales performance of its 150 million predecessor, which would make it the best-selling gaming console ever. So this is phenomenal news. This is somebody in the industry whose job it is to port some of the best games ever, or largest games ever. And they're saying that the Switch 2 should have no problem doing this. So it just sounds like a very promising future for the Nintendo Switch 2. And hopefully a lot of these quote unquote ports that we assume are on the way or might know that are on the way, hopefully they'll start showing up sooner than later, and we might have some evidence of that. So let me be delusional for a little bit. You know, it's good to be delusional sometimes. The game that I am anticipating most is Hollow Knight Silksong. It's coming very soon to the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe we get an announcement this week. Maybe. Why do I think this? Well, I already told you, I'm delusional. Keep up, I just told you this. We know the game is coming to the Switch 2. We know it's coming to the Xbox. We know it's coming out this year. Somebody at Xbox said it was even coming out this summer. Like, they confirmed a bunch of games coming this summer, and that was one of them. Now, summer technically just started, so, we have some time. But if there is a Nintendo Direct this week, or at least this month, that would be a great game to show up. And we have a small update that kind of seems like there's some stuff going on in the background. Hollow Knight Silksong Steam page received 5 manual updates in just 2 days. So this means the Hollow Knight Silksong team is going on Steam and they're doing some updates. And that makes me think that they're getting this game ready to launch. Sometimes we see the Xbox Store update. Sometimes we see the eShop description update or the rating or something. And I just feel like this is the time to do it. It's summertime. This is when people have time to play games. Yeah, I know. It's Hollow Knight Silksong. This game could drop at 4 a.m. and then it's going to sell just as good depending on the time of day or the time of year. It doesn't matter. Nintendo, let's get this ball rolling. I know it's Team Cherry, but come on, man. I want to play the game. Now, we have some more evidence of a direct happening. We just had a Bandai Namco summer event. We've seen Elden Ring be rated for the Switch 2. I assumed this would show up in that presentation, but it didn't. Now, a game that did show up in that presentation is the new Digimon game. The game is called Digimon Story Time Stranger. Now, we have this update right here. This game has a European article number barcode for a Switch 2 version. And when they showed off the game in the presentation, there was no mention of the Switch 2. So these are 2 games, Elden Ring and Digimon, that they could have easily said coming to the Switch 2 or talked about for the Switch 2. And I watched the event. It was not that good. This would have got some people talking, some more eyes on the event. So why not do that? That's because Nintendo is going to make this announcement or these announcements in a Direct. Hollow Knight, that could be announced in a Direct. Digimon and Elden Ring, that would show up. We heard some other third-party games like, what is the new Assassin's Creed game? Assassin's Creed Shadows, I think. That got rated for the Switch 2. We could see that in a Direct. That makes me think we're getting a partner showcase. It all just makes sense. But at the same time, we have some Nintendo announcements. So will it just be a Nintendo Direct that has some third-party announcements? Why not? That actually kind of seems more logical when I think about it. It's like, well, we have some indie game announcements. Well, we have some third-party stuff. Let's just do a Nintendo Direct because we get all those announcements in there anyway. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just got to hop in here for a second. There has been an update while I'm editing. Nash Weedle pretty much confirmed that there is a Direct happening this week. So, that's just more evidence that a Direct is happening. But on top of that, he says that Pikmin 4 is probably the next Switch game to receive a Switch 2 upgrade. So that's probably what we're going to see in this Direct. So yeah, I had to add this because all the evidence is just piling up. And some of these announcements, Nintendo leaked themselves. And normally when I see a theory or a conspiracy or whatever you want to call it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds kind of crazy. It'd be funny if it happened. This one is just so crazy that it makes so much sense. So this article says, rumor, Nintendo Switch Online may soon be adding Super Smash Bros. And Donkey Kong 64. And the way that these people found this is when Nintendo was showing off a little trailer for Nintendo Switch Online or whatever, in the background, it's blurry, right? So I think they used Photoshop or something and turned up the contrast and did some other stuff. And they kind of unblurred those boxes in the background. And one of them is for Donkey Kong 64. And actually, there's a couple more games now that I think about it. Maybe one was Perfect Dark. Maybe one was Glover. They might say it in here, yeah. So one of them was Donkey Kong 64. And then somebody's saying this is Glover. You can see the logo. There's the red right there. And then yellow right here and right here. I mean, sounds crazy, but there's no other game that fits that blur. And then this one is Smash Bros. And again, you can see the red, you see the yellow, you see the logo up here. It's like, it sounds crazy, but it's 100% fitting perfectly. I think Nintendo just leaked some games that are coming to Nintendo Switch Online. And then we know there's some other stuff coming to the GameCube. I think it's Pokemon Coliseum and then Super Mario Sunshine. This makes the perfect sense to do in a Nintendo Direct. And we know that a Nintendo Direct has to serve both users right now. Yes, the Switch 2 is getting all the hype and we're all loving it, but there's only allegedly between 5 and 6 million consoles sold. And I say only like it's not an incredible feat, but that means there's over 100 million people still playing their Switch. So the Switch needs some announcements. The Switch needs some love. If all these games show up on the Nintendo 64 app, well, obviously we can play it on the Switch too, but they can also play that on the Switch. And I think that's great. So we'll see how this goes, but that's what I'm saying. There's like a million signs pointing to a Nintendo Direct. So many announcements, so many leaks, so many rumors. Nintendo, the ball is in your court. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. If you made it to this part of the video, hit a like and subscribe. That would be amazing. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our community growing. And every single Saturday, I give away multiple eShop gift cards and videos. And this month, I'll be shipping out a Switch 2 and probably 2, maybe 3 more as the year goes on. All you have to do is be a subscriber, follow my social media, and like and comment to help the algorithm. And it's my small way of giving back to my amazing community. But you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.